It is win or go home for the Bulls and Raptors tomorrow in the 9-10 play-in matchup, a season that has been pretty disappointing for both teams. Both of these teams, for the most part, kept their teams intact from last season. Both teams finished with winning records the year prior, and both teams were good enough last season to skip the play-in entirely, with the Raptors finishing with the 5 seed and the Bulls the 6 seed. And had it not been for the play-in, both of these teams would already be on their way to Cancun on vacation. But thanks to the play-in, they've still got another chance to make the playoffs by winning in back-to-back play-in games, and for the Bulls, because that's who we really care about most here, they'll look to be the first 10 seed to win a play-in game. And so in today's video, we're going to be previewing the Bulls-Raptors play-in matchup, keys to the game, things to be looking out for, as well as my prediction on who will win the game. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. By the way, guys, I will have a live chat for this game. I know it's been a while since I've done a live chat, as I used to have those for every game on the season, but given the fact that this could be the Bulls' last game of the year, I thought it would only be fitting to have a chat throughout the game with all of you guys, so feel free to join if you'd like. The chat will go live shortly before tip-off here on the channel. But anyway, let's talk about this game. So if you've been following the channel leading up to the season, the end of the season, you know the Raptors were the last team I wanted the Bulls to see in the play-in. Not saying going up against the Hawks or the Heat or even the Nets, since at that time that I was discussing this, they were falling pretty hard in the standings and there was a possibility they would be play-in bound. But I would have much rather faced off against one of those teams in an elimination game, as the Bulls match up considerably better against them. But here we are. The Bulls weren't able to close out the season to put them in a position to be the 8th seed and to have 2 chances at getting into the playoffs and avoid playing the Raptors. Now, why? Why are the Raptors a bad matchup for the Bulls? Well, first of all, you look at their regular season head-to-head battles and you see the Raptors had the advantage. They beat the Bulls 2 out of the 3 matchups. They played against each other and won both games in Toronto, which the Bulls will be playing in Toronto on the road for this play-in game. For the Raptors, a team that greatly struggled all season, or actually one of the better teams at home, despite their overall record, having gone 27-14 at home this season. It's not going to be easy to win in Toronto. The other piece, say what you will about Nick Nurse because of how things have transpired this season for the Raptors, but he's a better coach than Billy Donovan, and he will win the coaching battle when it comes to outsmarting Donovan on mid-game adjustments. Nick Nurse is also very calculated in his approach when it comes to playing the Bulls. He takes an approach of trap DeMar and Zach at all costs, let the other guys do all the scoring. I'm not worried about them. Let's force Vucevic to get 30 points or Patrick Williams and Coby to do the bulk of the scoring. They can get the shot attempts. You limit Zach and DeMar no matter what. As an example, DeMar DeRozan only took 26 shots in the 3 matchups these teams played against each other this season. 26 shots over 3 games for DeMar, for a guy who averaged 17 shot attempts per game this season. Going up against the Raptors, DeMar had his lowest shot attempts per game compared to any other team, and he only averaged 14 points per game against the Raptors, also the lowest versus any opponent for him this season. The Bulls have to find other avenues of scoring. Other guys have to step up, rise to the occasion, and have big nights on offense. The same is going to be the case for Lavine, who saw his share of double teams in 3 games against the Raptors this season, with limited looks at the basket and forced turnovers as a result of it. Guys like Coby White, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic have to have big games in this one. Vucevic especially, because here's the thing, and it's why the Raptors are such a bad matchup for the Bulls. The Raptors are the biggest team in the NBA by height average across their roster. All right, they're basically the anti-small ball team that every other team in the NBA is trending towards. And while the Raptors can get killed by small ball teams who have great 3-point shooting, which has been the case for the Raptors this season to their detriment, the problem for the Bulls is they're not a good shooting team, even when they are playing small. And so because of this, the Raptors' size is going to kill the Bulls on the interior. And so you are going to have to rely big time on guys like Vucevic and Patrick Williams, who have the size and strength to match the Raptors. Now, at the time of this recording, Billy Donovan hasn't revealed the starters for the game, but I personally think you have to go with Pat over Caruso at the 4. You just can't start AC against a team like the Raptors. That being said, Donovan did say whether he goes with AC or Pat is going to get considerable playing time because they need his size. But in my view, the Bulls have to start the game out strong, otherwise it's over. Too many times this season, we've seen the Bulls come out slow, and it's killed them in trying to get back into the game, even when they go on runs to get back into it. Oftentimes, the deficit is too great to get out of that hole. Second, for Vucevic, going up against Jakob Poeltl, who actually has been challenging for Vooch because Poeltl is a really great rim protector and has given Vooch problems in the past, especially when it comes to outworking him on the glass and giving the Raptors, or when he was with the Spurs, second chance opportunities. But this is a game where Vuce has to do everything in his power to be attacking the rim with aggression, not giving the Raptors any second chance points. Vucevic led the league in defensive rebounding this season. He's got to be all over those defensive rebounds and not allowing the Raptors to crash the offensive boards, which is something the Bulls struggle with going head-to-head against this team. Too many second chance points, too many offensive rebounds allowed to them. Vucevic also needs to be outworking Poeltl in the paint with his footwork, as Poeltl isn't as athletic as most bigs that Vucevic usually goes up against. Poeltl also isn't the best at getting out on the perimeter. Vucevic has to be able to spread the floor and actually knock down threes. I cannot emphasize enough how important three-point shooting and offensive rebounding is going to be for this game. And when I say offensive rebounding, I mean it for the Raptors and the Bulls, limiting their offensive rebounding. Yeah, it would be great if the Bulls also won on the offensive glass and got all these second chance opportunities, but also being realistic, knowing how big the Raptors are, the Bulls likely aren't going to be getting very many second chance opportunities in this game. Although, I say that, and actually the Raptors are dead last in the league when it comes to defensive rebounding, which is surprising given their size and length, but they are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the NBA, second in the entire league, which is where they kill you in capitalizing on second chance opportunities. So yes, cleaning up the glass, grabbing defensive rebounds is paramount. And then three-point shooting, which is probably going to be the make or break for the Bulls in this game. Because with the Raptors' size, you're going to have a hard time finishing at the rim. Attacking the basket, slashing through the hoop, it's not going to be as easy as guys like Zach and DeMar have been able to do against other teams. Thus, spreading the floor, rotating the ball around the perimeter, and getting open looks from three is going to be more readily available opportunity on offense. The question is whether the Bulls can actually hit their threes, something they've struggled with in being inconsistent from deep all season. They'll have games where they go 15 for 30 from three, and then other times 5 for 27. No margin of error for this one. You have to knock down these shots. And guys are going to get open looks. Zach and DeMar won't, but Coby, Patrick, Vucevic, even Alex Caruso or Patrick Beverley, they're going to have open looks from three. Nick Nurse will live with those guys taking threes. He's going to force the Bulls offense to play through those guys over DeMar and Zach. And all of them, yeah, they can shoot threes. Other games, not so much. So which player is going to show up in a win or go home game? Here's the other piece. The Raptors are a scrappy and high effort, high energy team. The Bulls, typically speaking, are not. They need to match that level of energy in this one, which hopefully, given it's an elimination game, they will take it seriously. They will be fighting on every possession and playing with grit and heart throughout the game, not taking any possession off, not complaining about calls and getting back on defense, because the Raptors will make you pay. They love turning defense into offense and getting out quickly in transition. They killed the Bulls this season when it came to forcing turnovers in the half court and finding an outlet pass for an easy two. Now, the good thing for the Bulls is the Raptors are not a good three-point shooting team. They finished 28th in the league in three-point percentage, 21st in threes attempted. So they're not going to rely heavily on the three ball similar to the Bulls, but they also can get hot from three if the Bulls aren't careful in guarding the perimeter, which the Bulls have not been great at doing this season. It seems like every team this year had their way with the Bulls and lighting them up from deep. Even some of the worst three-point shooting teams or even average three-point shooters would go off from three and having the shooting night of their lives. The Bulls going up against a team that doesn't shoot it well from three, like them, has to be used to their advantage. You know, going into it, this is going to be a situation, most likely anyway, where the Raptors are not going to live and die by the three. They're not going to get points quickly in a hurry shooting from three. That has hurt the Bulls so often this season playing against a lot of other teams. And then finally, the Bulls have to take care of the ball. The Bulls have actually done a great job at limiting turnovers more recently post All-Star break, but against Toronto, a team that has led the league in steals per game, who have some of the best defenders in the league, who are great at poking the ball away, deflecting passes, guys like OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, smart and crafty defenders who will take the ball away from you if you're not careful. And on the opposite end, the Raptors, they don't turn the ball over. They lead the league in turnovers per game, the least amount of turnovers, that is. So you're talking about a team that is great at forcing turnovers with their scrappy defense and also great at taking care of the ball and limiting their own turnovers. Anyway, it's going to be a tough game for the Bulls. Do I think they can win? Yes, because the Bulls have shown they can beat any team in the league when they're focused, they play hard, and everything is going right for them on offense and hitting their shots. It really just depends on what Bulls team shows up. Is it going to be the Bulls team that plays with little heart and effort, where shots, if they're not going down, they get frustrated, they let it get to them mentally? Or is it going to be the Bulls team that plays hard the whole 48 minutes, no matter what happens, and can push through any downswings in a game? As far as my prediction on who takes the game, look, there's no way I can't take the Bulls. And while I do think we're more likely to see a Raptors win in this one, at the same time, I actually think the Bulls are going to come out on top with a newfound sense of energy and urgency. I know it's a bit wishful thinking on my part, but I can't go into this game with the mindset that the Bulls are going to lose and end their season tomorrow. I just can't. But you let me know what you guys think. Who do you think will win tomorrow's game? Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.